So with me today, live from Berlin, I have my friend Maria. Hi.
Hi, Patrick.
How are you?
I'm good. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you. Nice to be back in Berlin as well. All right, so we're going to jump right in. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself in 60 seconds, for example?
Oh my God. What's interesting about me? Yeah, I live in Berlin and I don't know, there's nothing to talk about.
Yes, there is.
What do you want to know about me?
Okay, so
I'm a runner. I like animals more than people.
Okay.
I'm a vegetarian, of course. Makes sense. Yeah.
How do we know each other?
Oh, through Hertha, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, through the internet, but
Yes.
I'm a big Hertha fan, which is a football club in Berlin.
Absolutely. How long have you been living in Berlin?
13 years now. Yeah, 13 years. 13 and a half. No, 13. Yeah.
Okay. And where you're from, basically?
Yeah, well, I am German, but yeah, I didn't grow up in Berlin. I grew up in Saxony, which is where the GDR used to be in the east of Germany, but the southern part of the GDR, basically. Yeah, I was born there, but I didn't grow up there. I was 1.5 when the wall came down, so I don't really know much about that.
And after that, when you left that region, where did you go?
Oh yeah, I lived in the Netherlands for 2 years after I finished high school, just to be an au pair, care for children. But it wasn't because I liked children that much. It was mostly to go somewhere and see something else.
Learn Dutch.
Learn another language,
Yes.
exactly. And after that, I wanted to live in Berlin. I had wanted to live in Berlin for a while when I was a teenager. And we visited once with school, and I think I was 16. And I fell in love, and I said, okay, I want to live here later. And that's what I did. I studied here, and then I stayed here.
That's what this city does to you. I know. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to bring you in today to talk about something. You did something that really fascinates me, and I had a ton of questions about. You did the Camino de Santiago.
Yes.
When did you do that?
That was 4 years ago. It was 2017 in June and July. Yeah, it took 5 weeks, so it was
Okay. And
summer.
how did the idea grow up in your mind?
That was very fast, actually. I didn't really think about it for a long time. I had a job that I didn't really like that much. I kind of liked, but I was like, okay, I had a 1-year contract and it was coming up. I had to decide, do I want to stay there, extend the contract or not? And I was like, no, actually, I don't want to. It's not that fun here. And it's not what I want to do. And then I said, I need a break. I have to find what I want to do. And one morning, this idea popped into my head about the Camino. I knew about it. I had read about it. And a friend of mine had done it years ago, before we knew each other.
Okay.
But she had mentioned it, that she had done it. We didn't really talk about it much. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. So I talked to her about it immediately. And she was like, yes, do it.
Okay.
And then I decided there and then, okay, I will do it. So, and that was in 2017, I think in February or so, because my contract was up in May, end of May, I think. So 3 months earlier, we were going to talk about it, do you want to stay here? Yeah, and then it was like, yeah, okay, I will do it this summer and see what comes after. I didn't know yet.
Okay. And your friend, which year did she do it? Was she like a teenager or?
No. She must have been in her 20s as well. She's a few years older than me. How much older is she? 5 years older.
Okay.
And when I did it, I was 29. Oh yeah, that's typical. Turning 30 and you do stuff like that. No, but I don't know. I don't know when she did it exactly. I have to ask her. Like I said, we didn't really talk about it that much, but it was a while ago. Yeah.
Okay. So, there are many versions of the Camino. Okay. There are many different routes.
Yeah,
yes?
yeah.
And the most famous one is the Camino Frances.
Yeah, the French way. Yeah.
From Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. And that's what you did?
That's what I did, yeah.
Was there a specific reason that made you choose that one, or?
Yeah, first of all, because it was the most famous one. I think when I started preparing, or I bought a book about it, like to sort of read about it, and I didn't even know that there were more than this one. Like, I knew that one, roughly. And in Germany, it's almost every German, at least in my age or older, would know that we have this famous comedian who wrote a book about it, that he did it I think in 2000 or something, like 20 years ago.
Okay.
And it was a very famous book and really good book as well. He's funny, and so that he did that Camino as well.
Okay.
So that's the one I was familiar with.
Who is that comedian?
His name is Harpe Kerkeling. You probably don't know him.
Kerkeling. Okay, no, it doesn't ring a bell, but all right. Yeah. Okay. Because, there is one that starts in Portugal, I think.
The Portuguese one, yeah. And then there's several also in Spain, like other routes, yeah. In shorter ones as well. Mm-hmm. The French one is about 800 kilometers, quite long.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not the longest one.
Well, it depends. The Camino.
You could start from Berlin.
Yeah, it can start at your front door, basically. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Okay. And some people do that. If they have time to do that.
Yes.
I mean, I met quite a lot of people there, and there were people they walked from Holland and through Belgium, France.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no, the French, the Camino Frances starts in France, but it's just by the border to Spain. It's in the Pyrenees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. The preparation fascinates me. So, how did you know where to start? Did you ask your friend or?
A little bit. I think she helped me, but mostly I'm a book reader. So, as I said, I bought this book,
yeah.
and it had not only all the stages or all the little villages and towns you go through, but of course, it also told you what to get. And good tips and
equipment and all that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I started. I made a list. What do I want to get? I went to a hiking store to get my boots and a big backpack and all that stuff. Yeah, so that's what I did.
Weight is a factor, of course.
Yep.
Do you remember how much you had to carry at most, or?
Probably about 8 to 9 kilos.
That's about a carry-on.
Yeah, it's a lot for me because I'm very light.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 49 kilos. So, so it depends. Of course, there's tips on that as well. How much you should carry the most according to your body weight.
Yes.
But I let me try to remember the formula. There was like a formula that you.
49
was it like a tenth of your body weight plus like 2 or 3 kilos?
Okay.
So it was almost there. I mean, it could have been less, but it's there. But I had to take a little laptop, and because I was writing, so I could have done away with a few things, but I wanted to take them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but it was hard. Of course, I had never done anything like that, like carrying that much every day on my back
for that long.
Yeah, it hurt my back, of course, but yeah, no, but it turned out fine. I mean, I don't think I missed anything that I forgot to take,
Okay.
And you can buy a lot of things along the way as well. It's not like you're not in the desert civilization,
Yes.
Yeah.
And even, worst case, you could have taken just a notebook and a pen instead of a laptop, save some weight. Worst case.
But I wanted to publish it in a way, like on a blog or so, and then you have to type it all.
Yeah.
After if you use pen and paper, you still have to type it.
Yeah, you have to transcribe it. Yeah,
so that's why I didn't want to do that. Yeah. But I did have a book like with blank pages with me and paper and pens to draw and even take notes if I wanted to. I had both. Yeah.
Okay. You probably, I'm sure it was mentioned in the book, physical preparation.
Yeah, but I didn't do much.
Okay.
I wasn't now I'm a runner, but I wasn't really back then.
Okay.
So I wasn't that fit, but I was young enough, so I thought I could do it. And I broke in my boots a little bit, so I did go for a few hikes, air quotes hikes in Berlin. There's not even any mountains.
Yeah, barely.
So
unless Grunewald, maybe.
Yeah, that's where I went as well.
Oh, okay, all right. Berlin experts checking in.
Yeah, so that's the only hill we have in Grunewald. Yeah. So I did that a little bit, but not much more. No.
Apparently, not breaking in the boots is one of the major mistakes people make.
Yeah.
They buy them brand new and then they go.
Yeah, but I still got blisters the first 2 weeks, so it didn't really help.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't do it enough. I only went for a few walks. Yeah.
It was probably mentioned in the book again, but what was your recipe to care for blisters? Or, prevent them or,
I didn't really have a plan. Or I had of course, I had Band-Aids with me, and there are these special ones for blisters. So if you have a blister, you put them on, and then it's supposed to like help the blister goes away, but it didn't help at all. And in the end, it was trial and error, basically. I tried stuff. I don't know, it's a bit disgusting if you want to hear about it, what I do with blisters. Also nowadays, when I get them from running or whatever, I take a needle, I pop them, so the fluid gets out, and I put a Band-Aid on it. So because it's a wound, and I look at it like every day and let's see if I can still do something about it, but then it just heals,
Yeah, that's it pretty much.
Yeah, and it worked fine for the most of the trip, because in the beginning I didn't really do it well. And you get tips from all the other people you meet there. Do this, put a thread through the blister, and I'm like, what? It's like, it's weird tips you get.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but it was fine in the end.
Everyone had their own
But the
remedies.
one tip I got for preventing blisters that I followed after I got it, and it helped, was that you should change your socks while you are hiking every few hours. And that's what I did, because you get hot feet, they are wet from sweat.
Yes.
And then you get blisters because your skin is like wet, basically. It gets raw.
And then friction against the,
So, and I had 3 pairs of hiking socks with me anyway. And what I did is every 1.5 or 2 hours, I took a break. I did that anyway to just take a break. You can't hike for 8 hours straight. So when I took a break, sat down and drank something or ate something or just sat down without eating. But I always took off my shoes and socks, and I had these safety pins with me that I put the socks on my backpack to let them dry in the sun, and I put on a fresh pair.
Okay.
And that helped a lot, because then I didn't have wet feet and I didn't get blisters anymore.
All right.
And I always, when I hear people tell me about they want to do some sort of long hike, doesn't have to be the Camino. I always tell them that, because that's the one tip I got. It was like gold.
Okay.
Yeah, it really helped. Yeah.
And it wasn't in the book.
I don't think so. No, someone on the Camino told me. Yeah.
And because that was one of my questions. What is the one thing that you wish you had known before starting?
Yeah, probably that. It's a very practical tip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Really helped. Like I said, I still tell people about it.
Years later.
Yeah.
Okay, so the route is marked along the way by a symbol, like a shell?
Yeah, it's the shell and the yellow arrows.
Yes. We will go back to yellow arrows in a few minutes.
Okay.
So on the way, you already knew that it was about 800 kilometers. You knew how long you gave yourself to cover that distance, more or less?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. I hadn't booked my flight back. I wanted to do that a few days before I arrived in Santiago, because I had no idea what would happen along the way. Would I even make it?
Yeah,
so I didn't book it yet. And but it worked out fine, and I could do it the way I wanted to do it. Just 2 or 3 days before I arrived there, I booked my flight. And then...
Okay, nice.
But I'm not sure if I probably had a time frame in mind, but I don't really remember if I really wanted to stick to it. Or in the end, I didn't really stay somewhere longer. Some people, they say, okay, I like it here, I'll stay here for 3 days.
Okay.
I never did that.
Okay.
I wanted to keep moving. I liked moving and getting there towards the goal.
So how many days did it take you total?
I think it was 34 days, so almost full 5 weeks.
Okay.
With 1 day, so it was only 33 days of walking, and 1 day was rest, because that was when my blisters were really bad. So I stayed in one town 1 day longer, booked a hotel room to just rest my feet. Yes. I could barely walk anymore. So
jeez.
Yeah, but then other than that, I kept walking.
Okay, and it was near the beginning that the blisters were really bad.
The first 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to accommodation, did you have to book in advance, or you take your chances? And do you have any rooms
I didn't book anything, except for, like I said, that one.
Yes.
And I think in one other town, I was like, oh, today I want a hotel room. So I booked a hotel, because usually you stay in these, sort of hostel situations, I mean, nowadays most of them are quite modern. I mentioned that book from the comedian, and he he never stayed in, or he stayed in one of those, they call it albergues, once, I think, and then he found it disgusting and he went to hotels because he could afford it. He's a comedian. He was quite famous back then already and he had some money, but I couldn't afford that. But also, it's not the same anymore. They're way better now. Most of them had Wi-Fi, and you had an outlet by your bed, and
Jesus,
so it's a very, very modern, and it's not like
sleeping in the barn next to the donkeys.
Exactly, it's not like that. Some of them were a bit like that, but usually in almost every little town or even bigger towns and cities you went to, you had options. There were many albergues.
Okay.
And in my book, they were listed.
Okay.
And sometimes I already read about them and I say, I probably want to go to that one. Sometimes they were full. Okay, went to the other one. But they were really cheap. Usually you paid sometimes only €5 per night or 10 or 15.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's worth it to do the sort of shittier accommodation. It wasn't that shitty, as I said, but it was really cheap.
Nice.
And and also you met all the people there. It was also along the way, of course. But it's part of the experience, meeting people from all over the world.
Yeah, that's true. Because
it's really interesting.
Yeah, if you stay in a hotel, you're less likely to meet people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so you just mentioned meeting people from other countries. Mm-hmm. There must be a few people that you've kept in touch with.
Not really anymore. I mean, we're still friends on Facebook, that kind of, or follow someone on Instagram, but we haven't really talked. Maybe the year after, but not lately. I'm not good with keeping in touch. I always regret it. I'm like, I see that this person, I see her on Instagram, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should message her, and then I never do. But yeah, it's okay. I mean,
I know what you mean, because you had this one thing in common, okay, the Camino. And then sometimes afterwards you realize that's the only thing you will ever have in common with that person. I mean,
there were a few, mostly, I think they were all girls, all women that I connected with. And the thing is, when you walk the Camino, you find a lot of people that have the same rhythm as you. Like, you will meet them all the time again, because of course, not one of us is way faster than the others. Why would we be, And you meet them again and again. Sometimes you meet intentionally or stay in the same place because you like each other. And there were a few girls that I spent some time with, and we kept in touch a little bit afterwards, and that was nice. Yeah, but for me it's hard to, like, they were from Australia, from the US, South Africa. It's hard to keep in touch. I mean, nowadays you can, but you can only text or write an email, or I guess you could call someone, but still they're so far away anyway, and I don't really see the point, to be honest.
Yeah, unless you're lucky enough to find someone who you really click with, and somehow they can come back to Berlin occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, if any one of those girls would come to Berlin and they could hit me up and could we meet, or that would be fine. I would love that, But we don't need to talk all the time, so it's okay.
So I should have mentioned that earlier. Okay, first, you mentioned 49 kilos for our American friends. That's about 110 pounds. Okay, just making that clear.
If you say so.
Yes. And so to give a proper picture, Santiago de Compostela is in the northwest of Spain, in Galicia.
Yeah, that's what the region is called, yeah.
Okay, and there is this place. We are jumping to the end already, but there is this place called Finisterre.
The end of the world.
Yes, literally.
Not really, but that's what they call it.
Yes. Well, that's what I mean by literally.
Okay, I get it.
Is it close to Santiago, that place?
It was. We went there with two of my friends I mentioned that I met there. I think we arrived in Santiago within 2 days of each other. And then we met up there, and then we went with some people. They still walk there, which takes 2 or 3 more days, I think.
Oh, okay.
And we decided to take the bus.
Yeah, I
didn't want to walk anymore.
Yes.
And it was a 2-hour bus ride. I don't remember exactly. But we went there, and then we went back by bus.
Because I don't think train is a big thing in that region, right?
No, I don't think so either.
Okay.
Yeah.
And basically, the Camino Frances it goes along the northern part of Spain, pretty
Exactly.
much.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And you went in June and July because the climate was better.
Yeah. It was quite hot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, probably in August it might be hotter, but it was still really hot. I got quite a few sunburns. I got the pilgrims tan on my calves because you're walking west all the time.
Yeah?
You start early in the morning, so most of the time the sun is behind you in the east, and then maybe it moves to the south, but it's mostly behind you, and you get your calves get really tanned.
I didn't know that.
Or half of them, because the other part was socks.
Yes.
You had this tan line. I had it. It was
Okay.
funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because what people may not know is in the winter, if someone says go in the winter, it's not going to be as warm. But the thing is, in that part of Spain, it rains all the time in the winter. So, beware. For those who want to do it in the winter.
Yeah, we had some rain. I remember one day I got really soaked through, but mostly it was dry. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. Yeah.
Yeah, you got
I got
lucky.
lucky. Yeah, I got lucky.
Huh. Can you tell me if there was one person during the entire trip that really stayed with you? Like that you will never forget that person no matter what?
Yeah, I think so. Probably more than one. Yeah, there were a few actually. Yeah, I don't think there's one that
Sticks out?
Sticks out. Yeah, it's a few people.
Such as?
For example, Sophie. She's from the US. And she we had quite a few walks where we talked a lot. She had issues, I had my issues, and she's a bit younger than me. I think she was still in college when we went there. Yeah, she had just broken up with someone, but wasn't sure if that was the right decision, and so this kind of stuff. And
was it?
Yeah. No, I think she's together with her now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, her girlfriend. Yeah, I think I see it. I see the pictures on Instagram. It looks like the girl she was talking about back then. And they have a dog. So it's nice. Yeah. So she. Yeah, I still, like I said, I still see her on Instagram, and I really liked her. And then there was this guy. What was his name? I forget his name. He was German, and he hadn't walked it for the first time. He had done it before, or at least I think tried it before. I think he's never finished it. It was like, and then that the same year we did it, he didn't finish either. He got injured somehow.
Okay.
He texted me later because we only saw each other in 2 days or so. And then later he texted me, "Oh yeah, I had to go home because I think he broke something or had some injury."
Shit. Okay.
Foot or leg injury, which is bad if you want to walk.
Yes.
And, so that was a shame. But he was one of those like you would imagine you meet some weirdos in a way, but it was a good type of weirdo.
Okay.
Or he was in a way that he was a bit older, wiser. He talked in a different way basically than I would with the other girls who were more like my age, a bit younger, a bit older. And he talked about religion as well, which came up again and again because usually it's a religious pilgrimage. Or it used to be,
Yeah, it used to be, but is it still true nowadays?
No, well, most people I met didn't do it for that reason. I didn't do it for that reason. More like often people said general spiritual reasons,
Yes.
Whatever that means. No, but he was, I don't remember really if he was religious, but he was, he told me. I guess, he was also gay. Now I remember it. I met the gay people. It's funny that comedian I was talking about, he's gay as well.
Okay. So
I don't know, it's common theme. It doesn't mean anything, but...
Yeah, you're the only straight person in the entire story.
No, and I wouldn't call myself straight, to be honest, but that's a different topic. I don't like labels like that, to be honest.
That's all right.
No, but he was talking about, this conflict that he had this... I think he also had a boyfriend or partner at home in a very Catholic part of Germany. They are religious, but they can't really, it's a problem, right, with the Catholic Church often. They wanted to get married and then do it at a church as well, but it's a problem, so he talked about that, and so it's really interesting. I forget his name. I'm not good with names. Anyway, so there were a few people like that, but these two, I guess, were the ones that stick out a little bit, yeah.
What would you say was the most difficult thing about the entire thing?
Good question.
Like, I guess you met enough people along the way that you were never really bored.
That's true. Yeah. Because some people also, they ask me later or even before, oh, you did that all by yourself as a woman, like, isn't it dangerous? And like, well, first of all, you're barely alone.
Yeah.
But the good thing is you can be alone. If you want to be alone and people leave you alone, no one will push a conversation on you while you're walking. Or at least I didn't meet people like that. And I think most pilgrims know that you don't do that. If someone wants to be alone, they want to be alone. It's part of the journey as well, that you have you're alone with your thoughts, basically.
Yes. Yeah. I'm guessing that the big sign you were holding over your head that said "fuck off," that was probably helping.
Yeah, no. First, before I did it, I thought, all that alone time, that's cool. But I also really cherished the conversations. Like I said before, the people I met, I wouldn't have thought that because I don't like people that much, but it was really nice. But yeah, so was there anything really difficult? Yeah, mostly actually really the physical part, like I said, the blisters and then the big backpack. It's heavy. Your back hurts. The mental stuff, after a while, it was fine. I didn't have any difficulties with like that. I really questioned my whole life or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I always said I went there to find myself, but I didn't find anything, to be honest. I mean, I didn't come out with like a big, oh yeah, that's what I want to do now, or like this big revelation, or no. It was just, okay, yeah, this was cool. I mean, I enjoyed it very much, but I didn't know more after that, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. About my life. After I came back, a few months later, I found a job. The funny thing is I still have it. It's the longest job I've ever had. So.
Okay.
But I'd never thought about having this kind of job when I went on the Camino. Like I didn't. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just maybe a coincidence. But.
Did you expect to have a revelation along the way, or were you disappointed?
I wasn't disappointed, no, but that's what you read about it.
Yes,
that people have,
that's true.
Well, especially people who do it for religious reasons, they have some, but even other people that they find some solution for that problem that they had or whatever. But I didn't. I mean, I had some problems with not only finding what I want to do in life, like working, what I want to work as or who I want to work for or whatever. I didn't find anything there. And then I had this, I still have the troubles with a man, basically, someone I'm in love with, and it's a big whole thing. And there was no solution there. But it's fine. I was fine with it, basically.
Okay.
I was saying, okay, it's not this big thing. It was a nice adventure that I had. But I didn't get this new direction in life suddenly or whatever.
Okay.
So, and I'm fine. I'm still fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for those, you probably answered that question earlier. If someone wanted to do the Camino as well, your first advice would be the socks thing, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Or would it be something else?
I don't know. Yeah, no, just enjoy it, I guess.
You wouldn't try to talk them out of it?
No.
Okay.
Also, what I did, and I heard of some people, for some Sophie, she didn't do that, and she had to do, like, she had problems the whole way after that. The first few stages, you should keep them a bit shorter to get into it.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Makes sense.
That's what I did. In the end, I did, on average, I did 25 kilometers a day.
Okay.
Do you want to convert that to miles?
It's about 15 miles, more or less, I think.
A bit more.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Hold on.
I would say about 17 miles.
Okay.
You can check. Let's see who's right.
Yeah, okay. So you say 17, I say 15. Live Googling, ladies and gentlemen. 15.5. Woo!
Yeah, okay. You're right then. Anyway, so yeah, that was my average. But I think I started with 11 and 14, not miles, kilometers. And then the longest one was 36 or something like that.
Okay,
yeah.
Wow.
So I had a few plus 30s, basically.
Okay.
Or 30 plus, whatever you want to call it.
36 is 22.4 miles.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that was one of those days where I was just like walking and walking, and I felt so good. Yeah. So, but that's you shouldn't start with the like 20 kilometers or so.
Yeah. And do you remember if there are parts of the Camino that are more difficult than others, or it's mostly flat? And
I mean, it is mostly flat. The good thing about the Camino Frances is not well, it's the longest one. Yeah, you don't have to start at the beginning. Some people don't do that. They don't have time to do it for 5 weeks, or can't do it physically, and that's fine. But yeah, mostly it's flat, which was good for a beginner like me who has never done anything like that. But there are a few mountainous areas, but it's not much. I think anybody can do it.
okay.
What the other caminos are harder that you can find within Spain as well. They're
Okay.
shorter often, but you have this one Camino del Norte or something, so north. Yeah, it comes a bit even more northern. I think along the coast.
Okay.
Or is there one called the coastal Camino? I don't know, but there are a few like that are further north, and they are more difficult. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I was there, I thought about, or shortly after, at some point I should do one of the other ones. So far, I haven't done it. I haven't planned anything either. I don't know if I will ever do it. The Portuguese one sounds interesting because you can do it in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
So because I couldn't do 5 weeks anymore because I have a job and I can't have a vacation for that long, but 2 weeks is fine.
Portugal is awesome.
Yeah, I've never been there, so yeah. I think you do it from Porto.
Probably, it makes sense. It's
just
about
go straight north.
In the middle of the country, so 2 weeks. Yeah, okay.
So yeah, but I don't know if I will ever do it. At the moment, I'm not too interested. Yeah, but I still have time.
Yeah, and it's nice to have plans. Like keep it on your list, and who knows. Do you remember if you enjoyed most? Okay, along the way, you probably found more small towns than cities as such.
Yeah.
Did you prefer the small towns or the cities? Were you happy to finally get to a city, or didn't care either way?
It didn't really matter. Only in a city you have more shopping options, supermarkets, because I always bought something for breakfast, because usually I started really early because it was getting hot during the day and you wanted to finish in the early afternoon at the latest. Sometimes I was there at noon already.
Oh, okay.
So because I started at 5 or 6 sometimes it was still dark. So I didn't get up and then had breakfast, and then went for my walk. No, I started walking right away. And then I had breakfast after 1 or 2 hours walking.
Okay.
And sometimes you found a cafe or something, but sometimes you just had your banana or whatever you bought the day before. So, and I like to have more choices to buy stuff. So the bigger cities, of course, had more choices and proper supermarkets.
Yeah.
And in the little villages or towns, you often had only like this one little shop that sold food. And of course, the thing is, nowadays, all the villages and towns along the Camino, they're made for the pilgrims. So they have everything you could need as a pilgrim,
Okay.
Not just the food stuff.
Like bandages, for example.
Yeah, of course. They have sun hats or anything. And it's, and people they often in the cafes and so on, in the restaurants, they have like a pilgrim's menu, which is something simple but and cheap,
Okay.
But it was like a 3-course meal.
Okay.
But simple, like I said, and cheap. And but it's like a tourist thing now, basically. They expect the pilgrims to come, and so it's a big tourism thing.
And at the albergue themselves, did you have any cooking options? Was it possible to cook your own stuff?
Sometimes,
but not always.
Not always. Sometimes they had breakfast. They offered breakfast as well, or they were they had a restaurant kind of a restaurant, and you could eat dinner there. But sometimes you could cook there. Yeah, it was every albergue was different, basically.
I guess the English word for it would be inn, probably.
Yeah, might be.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of the day, very practical question, but you probably had a budget. Did you go over, or?
I don't know, really. I don't think I had a real budget. I said, no, not more than €1,000 or so. But I think I had quite a big limit. because I wasn't poor when I started that journey. But I tried to, like, I wrote down every day what I spent.
Uh-huh.
And then some days it was a little bit more. For example, when I booked a hotel or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
went for a nice meal. And then, okay, next few days, maybe I go for the cheaper options again. So I did look at that because 5 weeks, it's quite a long time, and
Yes.
it will add up.
Yes, absolutely.
But I don't even remember what it was in the end, how much. Yeah, and if I went, no, I don't think I went over my budget because I didn't really have,
Okay.
like, it was, it wasn't, I mean, no, I didn't really have a budget. I don't think so.
And did you, like, all along the way, there were enough albergue to make sure that you wouldn't have to spend the night sleeping outside,
Yes.
basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
I only ran into this situation once where I wanted to stop at this one village.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they had 2 albergues only, and both of them were fully booked.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I have to go on then. I mean, it wasn't late at night or anything. I still had time. Like I said, usually you finish in the afternoon, or I did. But luckily the next one was like 5 kilometers away or less. It was not that far. And there I got the place.
Okay.
Otherwise I would have, yeah. But it was only once. All the other times,
No problem.
yeah, no.
Okay. And those albergues, are they kind of like dorms?
Yeah. You have rooms with multiple beds.
Okay.
It could be 4 or 12. Yeah. The snoring was bad for like some people. I had brought these earplugs.
Yes.
It didn't help.
Oh, really?
And they fell out of my ears anyway doing it, so I stopped doing that. And most days or most nights I was so tired anyway that it was fine.
Okay.
Because my body was just tired, But I remember this one time I spent it was not a real, it was one of the rougher albergues basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's by a church, I think. And well, like we had like mattresses or mats on the floor,
Ooh, that's rough.
That's okay, but we were close to each other as well. And there was this, I think, Norwegian guy, like not right next to me, but like maybe one mattress over, and he was like, he was loud, like snoring. He was like sawing all the wood in Norway. I don't know. It was like it's awful. and that was the one that really kept me up. But most of the times, it was fine. I was able to sleep.
Okay. And I mean, I can only, like, I'm like you. I'm not that crazy about being around people. I can only imagine like the rush to the showers in the morning. Making sure you have hot water and all that stuff.
I didn't shower in the morning. That was
okay.
I got up, got dressed, started walking, and then you showered when you got there because you were like all hot and sweaty.
Yes.
And
okay.
No, in the mornings I didn't shower. I didn't want to because it takes up time and there's no point.
Yeah, that's true.
It didn't have to look good or smell good. Who cares, So I didn't really care about that stuff. It was enough to take the shower in the afternoon after you got there.
Okay, and for that kind of trip, just as a ballpark figure, how many changes of clothes did you have?
I don't know. Like I said, I had these 3 pairs of hiking socks,
mm-hmm.
and then a few other pairs of socks for the time when you were finished hiking, and then in the afternoon we might have been walking around. If I even needed socks, often you're just wearing sandals and.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest, underwear, I don't really remember. Probably not a lot. 3 to 5, probably, and then same with. I had this one pair of pants or trousers that you could zip off parts of it.
Yes.
So it had 3 lengths. Shorts.
3, okay.
Then like sort of 3/4 length and then the full length.
Oh, nice.
Which was nice. So it was like 3 pants in one.
In one, yes.
And then tops. Yeah. I had, of course, different long ones and shorter ones. But not many. Every few days you did the laundry. Most albergues had washing machines we could use. And the stuff dried quickly because it was warm.
Yeah. And it's also smart to bring stuff that dries quickly
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. Yeah.
So, okay.
I did that.
I have this weird still image in my head that like some albergues must be like in the Middle Ages almost, like you have to wash your stuff by hand and
No,
stuff.
no, no.
Okay.
No washing machines, and often sometimes they had dryers as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
It was probably the case in like in the, I don't know, maybe it was mentioned in the book, but do you know if the Camino had a like a burst of popularity in the 80s or 90s, or it was always sort of stable?
I'm not sure. I don't really remember. I know it got really popular in Germany after that book of the comedian.
Okay.
But in general, I think, yeah, some people told me about, I think it was an American book. I think some of the Americans told me about that's a famous book over there. So
Okay.
people got inspired by that. I don't remember who wrote it or what it was called. I think there was a movie made about it as well, or made out of it.
Yeah, I think isn't it called The Way with Emilio Estevez and
Possibly, yeah, it sounds
Martin
familiar.
Sheen?
Yeah, sounds familiar.
I saw
So
that.
maybe, so maybe it was the movie that I don't know, but I don't know if there was like this big spike in visitors. I don't know.
I wonder if like EasyJet and Ryanair made the Camino more popular somehow, because it would be so cheap to fly, from I don't know, England to Toulouse. Maybe wasn't too far away from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port.
Yeah.
Like for example, you flew from Berlin to.
No, I didn't fly.
Okay, train.
I took a train to Paris.
Okay.
And then multiple trains probably. And I stayed in Paris for a night. And then I went by train to
Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port.
Yeah, you can pronounce it better. That village. And I stayed there a night.
Okay.
And then I started. So on the third day, I started walking because I wanted to ease myself into it. I didn't want to go by plane and then start walking right away, but I wanted to get there slowly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did, yeah. But I think it is very popular now, also because it is not, like, it's not rough anymore, like I told you. It's not, it's
easier.
Yeah, you meet so many people along the way, you're not alone. And the inns are quite modern, So it's not like roughing it, and it's like this big adventure that some people might stay away from because it's too much for them.
Yeah.
Nowadays, everyone can do it.
Yeah, you don't have to sleep with the horses anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. That's progress, I guess, for better or worse. Huh. All right. So yeah, I said earlier that I was going to go back to the Yellow Arrows.
Mm-hmm.
You wrote a book about your trip. What? No, not yet. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. What I meant by that was the diary entries basically I made during the Camino. I purposely didn't publish anything while I was doing it, because some people would write a blog while they were doing it or post pictures. But I stayed away from all social media.
On purpose?
Yeah, on purpose.
Okay.
And that was part of it for me.
Okay.
And I, like I said, I typed up sort of diary entries every day about that day. And I had in the back of my head, okay, I might publish it on a blog later or even publish it as a book.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I did, yeah.
Was there something specific that made you decide to write it as a book?
Yeah, I think I like having a book in my hands, like
physical form.
Physical, going through the pages, and I like the idea of giving it to people, like to my mom, and so they can read about my experience.
And what did people think of the book?
I think they liked it. I don't know. I didn't get any negative feedback. Probably they wouldn't want to give me negative. Like they don't want to hurt my feelings. I mean, it's nothing special, It's not like big literature what I wrote there. But yeah, I guess for most people, I think most people who bought it or read it were people who know me.
Yes,
and they were interested in how it went, how it is. They have never done, or most of them have never done anything like it. So they probably appreciated the opportunity to read about it. I mean, I can tell people about it, but it's not, I can't remember everything every single day. But when I wrote it down in the evening right away, so fresh memories. So So basically everything I thought was important that happened to me on that day, it's in there. Yeah. So.
And how did you go around for the publishing of the book? You published it yourself?
Yes, there are options. There are websites where you can just upload your book and choose a cover and so like some cover art that they have, and can just publish it. And
the price was reasonable in total?
Yeah.
Okay. Which one did you use? Do you want to recommend it or?
Yeah, I think it's called Books on Demand.
Okay.
And that's how you can, I think, still buy it. That's why it's Books on Demand, right? When someone clicks on it and buys it, they print it. So, and
okay. So you didn't have to have a batch of, I don't know, 100 books
no
printed in advance. Okay. And yeah, the book is Gelbe Pfeile, Yellow Arrows.
Yeah.
So and I have one. And you signed it as well.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it live. I wanted to bring the book actually, but I ran out of. I know it sounds weird, but I ran out of space in my stuff.
It's so slim, the book.
I know, but I had to keep it to the absolute minimum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
it's okay.
Hold on, I got it. Yes, here. Hold on. If you can read what you wrote.
Okay. I wrote, "To the weirdo Patrick who made me sign my first book, smiley."
There you go. So, yeah.
So my only book, by the way.
And was it the only one that you signed?
Probably, but I'm not sure.
I knew it was a good idea.
Probably worth something now.
Yeah. It's a...
Now that I'm on a podcast, about to get famous.
Yeah, you're international celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
So now about that book, would you do anything differently?
About writing the book?
Yeah, or publishing it? You're not happy anymore about the cover or something? It would be exactly the same?
I don't do that stuff, like regret stuff that I did. No, not this insignificant stuff. No.
Okay.
No, I mean, it's fine, it's okay. I wouldn't change anything, no.
All right. How would you, this is maybe philosophical, but how would you summarize that experience in one sentence?
I'm glad that I did it. That's it.
All right. Okay. The marathon of questions is over. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. Where can we reach you online?
I mainly am on Twitter under Maria_Berlin. Yeah, that's it. Same name on Instagram, I think. Yeah. And that's about it. It's not very interesting what I write there. And it's mostly German as well, so yeah. My Instagram is in English, but my Twitter is mostly in German.
All right. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening, and we will talk again soon. Thanks.